something else, Marvin. All right. Did you order the ink? Did you order lots of ink? Get lots of ink. Reorder, get more ink coming. I don't want to have this problem again. I want to have properly typed up report. We need ink for that printer. Get that ink. All right. And you got the clip ready? That's a great clip, huh? Yeah, you got it? Okay, let's do it. Good afternoon. I'm Steve S.H. Walters reporting for Breaking News 500 here in Vero Beach, Florida. Today's topic is earthquakes. Now, before we get on to earthquakes, especially in LA, that's where we're going to center our topic on. Subscribe to the channel, give us a like, give us a thumbs up. It helps us keep this content coming and other content, and it doesn't cost you a thing, and we greatly appreciate it here at Breaking News 500. Now let's get on to earthquakes. Marvin, have you ever experienced, no, he never experienced an earthquake. You're a Florida boy, right? You're born and raised in Florida. Yeah, he knows hurricanes. He never experienced an earthquake. Well, I'm an LA Long Beach boy, so I've experienced earthquakes. 61 years living in LA Long Beach, the LA area. I know homelessness, I know crime, I know gang violence, I know earthquakes. Yeah, I lived in that environment, so I've got stories. But here's the thing. These earthquakes can hit at any time. And for some reason, especially in LA, they always seem to hit early in the morning. I don't know what it is. They always hit early in the morning. Now, I went through 3 major, huge earthquakes in those 61 years I lived in the LA area. Now, I'm going to give you some stats. Then we're going to give you a great video clip, and then we're going to tell you a couple stories. Now, in 1971, the first major earthquake I went through was the Sylmar Earthquake. And that hit at 6:01 a.m., February 9th, registered 6.5, over 64 people, well, it was 64 people died, and about $500 million in damage. That was in 1971. I was 12 years old then. It was my first major earthquake. And I remember going to school, and everybody was upset, everybody was talking about it, and we used to have in schools, in the LA area, earthquake drills. Get under our desk, they would sound these sirens. We'd all go out to the, the campus area or the the outside quad area of the school, get out of the buildings, go out in an organized fashion, walk out organized during the earthquake. You ain't walking out organized during an earthquake. Are you kidding me? Everybody's running around. They're going to be panicking. Walk out all organized. It's an earthquake drill, Well, we went through earthquake drills. And in 71, we had that huge one, and we had a ton of damage, and everybody was scared, and everybody was talking about it. For some reason, it never really bothered me. It didn't scare me. I mean, they're bad, they're dangerous, but they just don't scare me. Now, in 1987, that was the second big earthquake that I went through. That was the Whittier Narrows Earthquake, and that was registered at 6.1. Happened at 7:42, October 1st, 1987. 8 people died and $20 billion in damage. Well, I'll give you a quick story on that one. What happened then, I was 28 years old. And I was up early, I was doing construction. I had a small little Toyota 4-banger truck, and I had about 15, 20 sheets of drywall loaded into this thing. I'm driving down the 91 freeway in the Long Beach area, transitioning to the 605 freeway, if you know that area, and I'm on this ramp transitioning, and there's like a 90-foot drop-off. Well, that's when the earthquake hit. And my truck started swinging across the lanes, on that that access, or that driving over to the 605. I was weaving all over the place, trying not to go over the edge. I go, what's going on? I thought my steering went out. I go, oh my God, my steering went out. What's going on? I pulled the truck over, and I noticed a lot of other vehicles were pulling their cars over. And I'm thinking, what's going on with them? They lose their steering too? It was an earthquake, folks. It was the 87 Whittier Narrows Earthquake, magnitude 6.1. It was huge. And there was over, 8 people that died, and $20 billion, in damage. Now, I found out about 5 minutes after the quake, it was a quake, because it was all over the radio, and everybody, was talking about it. It was everywhere. And it was a big one. It was huge. But luckily, I didn't go over the embankment. I was okay. My vehicle was okay. I went to a construction job. I had done a bunch of framing, and the day before, I had a I wasn't going to nail everything off or screw everything off. I thought I'd do it tomorrow, you know. And I thought, I just work the extra hour and do it, you know, which I'm glad I did, because not one thing was out of square. Everything was secure. There was no damage, and I could continue with my work, and nobody got hurt at the home I was working on. So that was good. So it was good that I stayed that extra hour and did that work. That was 1987. Now, 1984, huge earthquake, bigger than those last two, was the Northridge Earthquake out in the valley area of Los Angeles. Now, this earthquake was registered at 6.7. 72 people died, and they had thousands, of course, injured, and about $20 billion in damages. This particular earthquake, there was a lot of collapses on freeways and bridges and that type of thing, and luckily, it hit at 4:31, right? 4:31 a.m., January 17th, 1994. Because it hit so early, there wasn't a lot of people out. So there wasn't people on the roads or on bridges and freeways getting killed or having that type of damages, or out in front of buildings that were coming down and things, because there was a lot of that. And but there still was a lot of deaths, still was a lot of damage, but it was probably minimized because most people were home sleeping. 1994. Now we have a clip from the movie Earthquake done in 1974 with an all-star cast. Now, are you ready for this? It's a great clip. Are you ready, Marvin? All right, roll the clip. Well, what did you think about that movie clip? Woo! Was that something else? Wow. All-star cast in that movie, Earthquake 1974. You had a lot of great actors in there. They all did a great job. Charlton Heston, George Kennedy, Richard Roundtree, Ava Gardner, Victoria Principal. Oh, Victoria. Ooh. I had a crush on you, sweetheart. If you're watching, oh, I had a major crush on you. And you're also a great actor, Victoria. Oh, beautiful actress. Yeah, it was a great movie and very well done. You know, there's a scene in that movie that I always get a kick out of. Walter Matthau's also in it. He's in the bar. He doesn't have I think he only has 1 or 2 scenes, but he's in the bar and he's drunk. And that earthquake hits and people are being thrown around, things are falling everywhere, and Walter Matthau gets up to walk out of the bar. During the earthquake, he walks perfectly straight. Well, he's drunk, so the earthquake kind of is balancing him. So he walks perfectly straight out the bar. Everybody else is being thrown here and thrown there, everything. I thought that was the funniest thing. It was a movie. It's a movie. A great movie, and they did a great job with it, and it kind of gives you an idea of what an earthquake is like. And they're very scary and they're very dangerous. Now, what do you do if you're in an earthquake? Well, you don't panic. That's number one. Don't panic, folks. Now, here's what you do. If you have a heavy-duty desk or a strong, heavy-duty coffee table, you can get under that. That'll help to protect you. Really, if you can, get under a door frame, because there's a header beam above, and things might be falling behind you or in front or behind you, but you can kind of get in there and straddle yourself, and you'll be secure with that header beam. More than likely, you'll be okay. Get into a door frame or a door opening. There's always a big beam supportive above you, and that's going to help protect you. And just ride it out. Know that these earthquakes only last maybe 5, 10, 20 seconds at the longest. They don't last too long. So you just got to be able to ride it out. And you might want to have some safety kits, you know, for injuries in the car or in the home. And basically use common sense and don't panic. That's really about all you can do. Now, there will be aftershocks that are going to come after these quakes. You're going to get a lot of little aftershocks, and realize that the big one just hit. So the other aftershocks are going to be smaller. Sometimes you get some pretty good aftershocks, but generally they're a lot smaller. So you got through the big one, you get through the aftershocks. Now, some people have experienced earthquakes in California. I've met people that were living there or that were visiting or down on vacation, earthquake hit. They're leaving. They're like, I'm never coming back here again. I'm not going to ever deal with this again. Really scares the tar out of them. I don't blame them, you know. Just for me, I don't know. They don't scare me, and they're dangerous, but I don't know why they don't scare me. Now, when I had the issue with my car, that was a little scary, but I just reacted. You don't have time to be scared. You just got to do what you do, you know, if that makes any sense. Well, I hope you've learned something. I hope you have a little more awareness about earthquakes. If you're in California, realize that's earthquake country and they do happen there. In Los Angeles, we have a major quake zone or quake fault called the San Andreas, but there's over 100 fault lines in the LA area, 100. So an earthquake can happen at any time. And Northern Cal, same thing. There's tons of fault lines, and that's California's earthquake country, folks. What can I tell you? Just be aware of it. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this report. I'm Steve S.H. Walters reporting for Breaking News 500. Have a great day.